Everyone. So my puppy and I are here to do the weekly check-in. He doesn't like to look at cameras and mirrors and stuff. So anyway, sorry, it's a little weird. Um, anyway, I want to do a video check-in this week, and I hope you guys are doing well. Hope that you are at least enjoying the information and the content and feeling good about it. I think I'm freezing a little bit here or something. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to put myself in the corner so we can look at what we have going on this week. You're starting adolescence, and again, since all of us have either been through it or might be at the outer edges of it. But it's it's a very interesting chapter. Most students really enjoy it, especially because it's you know it's in our memories pretty strongly, and we can remember what it was like, or what it is, what it was like, what it is like. So, but please don't forget, you do have a discussion question due on Saturday. I love this discussion question. I mean, I know, of course, it's more work for you guys, but I love Kohlberg's stages just to kind of look at and use as a reference in our mind when we have to make a decision about something. If we can think about these stages and not judging ourselves about what stage we come in at, but more use them as a guidepost of recognizing where we are with the particular question and where we might want to be, and just sort of watching our thinking and acknowledging that. That's what I really like to see in this discussion question, is that you are going through your own thinking process and being able to name the stages and levels that you're in. I do like to see the names, and I do like you to define them. It does say here, please name and explain them as you understand them. So don't just name them, but explain how you understand them. What is the Law and Order, level 1, stage 4, Law and Order? What is that about? What is important in that stage? What is the biggest value in that stage? What is the question of that stage? And so I like you again always to show me what you're understanding and what you're getting about the concepts. I haven't graded any of these yet. So, oh, and just as an aside, I don't typically grade things until after they're due. So if you've turned in your paper, that might be the issue. But these I might start on tomorrow. So just keep that in mind. I like you to name it. I like you to take me through your thinking process. You can give the numbers and the names and define them, and then explaining how your thinking expresses or demonstrates that particular stage and what it means. I just think this is a good one, a fun one to go through as we connect it to ourselves. So what else do we have going on? I'm back. Let's see. We have the middle childhood quiz due the 22nd, adolescent quiz due the 29th, and the middle childhood letter. Wow, this one says the 22nd. Oh no, your paper is due the 15th, right? Okay, so you have your big paper, which I don't have on here, coming up due before all of this. So please remember that, the Making Connections paper. You can use the open discussion that we have on that, to ask questions, to also put in. I'm not going to read an entire rough draft, but I would be happy to, if you put in just one answer or even a part of an answer onto the discussion forum, then I can respond to it, and then your classmates could respond to it or ask questions about it. Nobody's done that, but that's fine. I'm happy to do it to let you know if you're kind of on the right track. Sometimes students like that, but again, I don't have time to read a whole paper. But usually the way we answer one question is about the way we answer most of them. Remembering that I want you to define the concept you're being asked. So if you're doing Erikson, choose your stage, define that stage. And when you're defining it, think about, how does a child pass or fail that stage? According to Erikson, what would it look like? What would it take? What would it require? And then you connect Will to that through specific examples of his adult behavior, remembering that you're trying to show how his adult personality is displaying something that happened in his earlier development, especially with Erikson and Freud, and working models. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So remembering that those things might have that they took place in his childhood, but how are they showing up in his adulthood, and how is he behaving specifically to show that? So that's what I like to see in all of those. And remember that I grade each question is worth 20 points because the whole thing is worth 100. And I will be looking at, do you define the concept? Do you show me understand the concept? Do you give me a really good example of will in the concept? How thorough are you in covering it? So those things are important to me. Letters you'll be thinking about coming up here very soon. Middle childhood letters, you can choose any of those concepts. I believe the concepts are in your syllabus. I'll double check that. Um, Same thing. You're going to define the concept and you're going to show me an example from your life, but you're going to write it as a letter to yourself. So, dear young Tracy, dear 10-year-old Tracy, remember when we were in class and this kid was acting out and not being able to sit still and picking on other kids. That's an example of blah, 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 blah. Or remember when you were acting out. Or remember when you were, bullying this person. Things that happened to you, things that you saw, things that you experienced during those ages of 6 to 11, 11, 12, take it into the early parts of middle school is fine. And just make sure you just explain to your young self what that concept means, name it, explain it, and connect it. That's what you're doing, naming, explaining, connecting. But you're writing it as a letter. You don't need to do APA for the letter. You do for the Good Will Hunting. These are letters. I don't grade any like grammar and stuff specifically, though in my head it may go into the final grade a little bit. But I think it's rude. It would be rude for me to mark up a letter to yourself that could be very meaningful with that kind of stuff. So feel free to ask any questions. Again, I love questions put on the open discussions, just so that if I'm not around, somebody else can answer them. And if other people have the same question, I don't have to answer it multiple times. So hope things are going great. Also, you can always keep me informed on how you're feeling about the class, helping me kind of direct the flow of that. Hope it's going well, and we'll talk again soon. Bye.